interesting programs coming up, and I think, again, if you just take a conscious minute to go, well, who can I bring along?
Hello.
Please do so. So we're all happy to have Lauren back. Any of you that were here when she presented before know what a great presenter she is. She lives in Lincoln University, and she's a proud 10th grader doing what she can to make the world a better place. She has started 3 nonprofits, a concert series that benefited food banks during COVID, a charter organization to sustain Boy Scout troops in our area, and an organization battling post-COVID loneliness by taking students and doctors to the Dominican Republic to serve the underprivileged. And that's what she's going to talk to us about today, I believe. Lauren comes from a long line of active volunteers with 3 older brothers who collectively volunteered over 9,000 hours in high school. While she knows that it's not a competition between her and her brothers, she's pretty confident that she's winning. She had so much fun presenting to us in November. She was eager to come back and share stories of the next phase of her project. So make her feel welcome.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be back. As she said, my name is Tyree. There we go. My name is Tyree, and I'm super excited to be back to present to you again today. I presented back in November, and if you remember, I talked about scouting and the 3 important lessons that I learned in scouting. And just to refresh your memory, those lessons are: don't do it alone, don't do it all at once, and don't forget extra toilet paper. So my most recent project relied on those 3 lessons. I ran a trip to the Dominican Republic, a service trip, with a group of 20 people from my high school. And we worked on construction projects, provided medical care, and distributed food to the impoverished villages within the sugarcane fields. Those villages are called bateys, and they house the migrant workers that cut, take care, and grow all of the sugarcane in all of those fields by hand. Often made out of scrap materials blown over from nearby cities, the bateys themselves are not beautiful, but the people are. Here's a quick video about our trip. So this trip started due to a concern for mental health, how out of place each of us felt when COVID restrictions were lifted. Each of us were struggling in our own way with loneliness, isolation, depression, anxiety. When one of our participants first heard about this trip, he was laying in a hospital bed recovering from an eating disorder. He needed to escape the isolation that he had been feeling for so long. So we consulted with some doctors that explained that the best way to get out of your own isolation is to go be with other people and support other people. So that's exactly what we did. And we did a lot to prepare for this trip. Presentations to literally thousands of people. Recognize this picture? We had multiple team building events. And we even hosted a concert with a 19-piece Dominican praise band called The Loudest Christians Ever that raised money and awareness. But nothing could have prepared us for the things that we experienced in the bateys with the beautiful families that we met. Despite their truly Spartan surroundings, everyone was so happy, especially the kids. But one thing stuck with us throughout the week, especially to one of our friends, Charlie. He had a conversation with a girl in a batey using Google Translate. And as they chatted, they both learned that they were both 16 years old. And what the girl typed next, he will never forget. She typed, "We are equal. We are equal." Of course, she was referring to their age, but despite all of their differences, he's a guy from the suburbs and she's a girl living in a sugarcane field. But they're just 2 kids trying to make the world a better place. We are equal. So let's talk about our impact, and we'll do it by the numbers. The morning that we left, we felt truly blessed by our 165 donors that made this possible. Due to our fundraising, over half of our participants received some sort of financial scholarship to be able to go on this trip. We had dozens of human conveyor belts that moved over 70,000 pounds of rice and over 12,000 pounds of cinder blocks. And cinder blocks in the Dominican, they make everything, including this prosthetics clinic that we are helping Graviel build. Graviel's an amputee himself, and when he finally got a prosthetic leg, it completely changed his life, and he wanted to be able to make that change for other people. So we are now building this prosthetics clinic to help provide millions of prosthetics to millions of people for free. We had over 1,000 braids on 45 heads, and if you do the math, that means each of us had to get our hair braided multiple times that week. We held hands almost 10,000 times, gave almost 1,000 piggyback rides, and prayed to over 473 families and their homes while distributing food. We had a Christmas party for 147 kids, had 147 meals, 147 presents, and 147 bags of popcorn. We also brought 9 giant red bags filled with $50,000 of donated medicine and medical supplies that's going to help serve over 250,000 patients at our partner hospital this year. Those donations came from people like us, like doctors cleaning out old medical closets. We also rocked 8 babies to sleep, and we brought 3 bags of new baseball gear that's going to start 1 new youth baseball league. And we nearly ruined 2 sets of braces by trying the raw sugar cane. That stuff is tough. And while our count went into the 10,000s, there were not nearly enough hugs. This little guy, he loved to give hugs. He told us his name was Leche, but we recently realized that leche means milk in Spanish. So he could have been telling us his name, or he could have just been asking for some milk. We're not sure. But the number that stands out the most to me is the number 1. We sang 1 song every day while we were in the Dominican. Here's a little video about what that song means to us.
Every morning when we were in the Dominican Republic, we sang this song. It means so much to me because it talks about living in the goodness of God. With all the work we did, fun we had, and kids we met, it showed me that we can truly live in the goodness of God.
I love you, Lord. For your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest night, you were close like no other. I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God.
So at the end of that video, you saw a quote from Bishop Heil. He's the founder of my high school. And the end of that quote really sticks with me because creating a world that's a better place, one more pleasing to God and more helpful to others, is exactly what we're doing. Since returning home, we have shared our story with thousands of people across 12 organizations, and we have 15 more presentations scheduled, including you. So for every presentation, we like to bring cake, because a tradition that we had in the Dominican after working a long day, sweating a lot in the hot sun with lots of people, we would come back to the boarding house and we would celebrate our togetherness with cake every night. So that's what we like to do here. Now that I've been able to tell you about this trip, you are now a part of this trip, and so we are going to celebrate our togetherness with cake. So if you haven't got cake, make sure to get some. It's really good. We even made a film about our trip that has won awards in multiple international film festivals. And we learned that one way to get people excited about volunteering is by recognizing their community service. So we have recognized people across 8 organizations for a total of 45,000 volunteer hours, with awards and even commendations on behalf of the President of the United States. Individually, we learn to appreciate our blessings and about the power of human connection. And as a team, we learn the importance of building trust and how working with others can multiply your impact. Now, our team learned a lot on this trip. Me personally, I learned one new word while I was serving in the Dominican, and they learned it from these 2 girls you see here, Francesca and Esperanza. I hung out with them the entire week while I was serving on the construction team, and I learned so much about them, their families, and their lives. But toward the end of the week, they started using a word that I didn't understand. The word was recuerdas. Now, I speak Spanish, but not that much, so I didn't understand what these girls were trying to say. But they kept saying it. Recuerdas. So I pulled in Jose, one of our translators, to help me understand what these girls were trying to tell me. And he explained that the word they were using was recordar, which means to remember. The girls were asking if I would remember them of all the things in the world they could want. Food, water, clothes, education, a fix to their leaky roof. What they wanted the most was to be remembered. By going on this trip, telling you all about it, and going back next year with an even bigger group, we are proving to these 2 beautiful young girls that they are worthy of being remembered. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
You said migrants.
Yes.
Villages. Migrating from where? I mean, it's a little difficult to go from island to island.
Sure.
Haiti or-
So, oh, thank you. So a lot of the people in the Batays are migrants from Haiti. So I don't know if you guys are aware of what is the situation in Haiti, but it's not too great for them to survive and make a living. So they go to they cross over to the Dominican, and they go and they work in these Batays, and that's where they get housing, and that's how they provide for their families. Yes.
So clearly you're doing a lot of great things.
Thank you.
A lot of people very impressed with your presentation last
Thank you.
time. This might seem like an insensitive question, but
Sure.
I really want to know, given the fact that it's so faith-based and
Sure.
there's so many different types of religions out there,
Yeah.
how do you overcome your objections of people who may or may not want to donate to your cause?
Sure. So, I do go to a Catholic school. St. Mark's is a Catholic school, and the mission that we work with is partnered with a Baptist church in the Dominican. But going on the trip, we had Jewish people, we had atheists, we had agnostics. It was a very wide, diverse group of people, like religion-wise. And everyone can participate or not participate in the religious practices that we do during the week. So if we're praying with the families while we distribute food, you don't have to participate in that. That's okay. We did a daily devotional every day. So every morning that's the song we sang every day. And we would have a little reflection time. It was almost like a mini church. But you don't have to participate in that if you don't want to. It's very open and you don't have to be religious to be able to go on the trip. It's just that religion is a part of the trip. So.
As a follow-up to that, what
Sure.
is the actual cost for a participant to go and be a part of this, whether it be plane, travel, clothing, whatever it is?
Sure.
To support one person.
Yeah. So the trip, including housing, food, and planes, costs about $1,500. That's transportation, the entire experience itself. So it costs about $1,500, but with a lot of fundraising that's been going on, we're able to provide for some of those kids and help give them a full or partial scholarship to be able to go on that trip.
And when's the next trip?
So we're doing a trip in July, but that is not sanctioned through the school. That's just for any kid who wants to go. The next school trip will be in next January of 2025. Yes.
What type of provisions does the school take in order to help keep you safe there?
Sure.
You're in a totally different country.
Yeah.
The walls are different, everything.
It is a very different experience. So we have partnered with a mission that has been doing this for about 35 years now. It's called the DR Mission Team. They're out of Connecticut. And the DR Mission Team is partnered with a hospital, the Good Samaritan Hospital, and that is in the city that we stay in, and the Baptist church that is right next to where we stay. So they've been running this for about 35 years, so they have a very well-oiled machine and lots of safety precautions in place. But the place that we stay is very safe. They do have night guards at night. They make sure that no one comes in because we are in the city. But otherwise, it is very safe. We also have translators that come with us. I'm very good friends with the translators. We have translators that come with us that make sure that we are staying safe and not going somewhere that might be dangerous or something like that. And also the relationships that we've built in the bateys have made them so safe. And so, I know the kids in January, there was a watering hole about 100 yards behind one of the houses. And usually you'd think, why would you go to a watering hole? But that is their source of water, and the kids love to go play there. So they took some of us to the watering hole, and we didn't tell them. So we were, a little scared, but we were having a ton of fun with these kids because we're in the batey where we built a relationship that they know we're here to help them, and they really appreciate that. And so it was super safe. Yes, Ty.
Can you tell about Moises and his role at the hospital and how he got there?
Sure.
Yeah.
So Moises is he's a CEO of the Good Samaritan Hospital. He grew up in a batey, and he has 8 siblings. And this is important because his youngest sibling, when they were being born, his mom was hypotensive. And if you know, that can be very dangerous for someone who's pregnant, especially someone in labor. So she went to the public hospital nearby and asked, hey, can you help me? I'm in labor, I'm hypotensive, this is not good. And they denied her help, medical care, because she was Haitian and she had no money. And as she was being transported to another hospital, she died on the steps of that public hospital. So Moses wanted to grow up and make a change and make that not happen, not a possibility anymore. So he grew up, he left the bateys, he's now in La Romana, which is where the hospital is. And with the help of a pastor with the same church that we had talked about, with the help of a pastor, he built the Good Samaritan Hospital, which now serves 250,000 patients a year. And they accept people no matter their ethnicity, background, how much they can pay. It's a very open. They don't deny anyone help to medical care, and they have operation rooms, and it's a very beautiful, beautiful hospital that they've built, and volunteers like us help build that. So,
Lauren, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
thank you.
This is probably a good time to announce the Lauren Tyree for president. So, like, start saving your pennies, because we should be so lucky. And secondly, I didn't think your parents would appreciate it if we gave you a champagne glass, but there's nobody who doesn't like a pair of Easter bunny socks and some chocolate.
Thank you so much. I love coming here. Thank you.
Yeah, Deb.
Can we take a quick picture?
Hold on.
Sure.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Well, thank you, Lauren, for sharing your
I think you just took
inspiring
his.
story.
You just took.
I did.
You just took his thing.
His clicker.
Yeah. Thank you again, Lauren, for sharing your inspiring story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your brother's record doesn't stand a chance. All right.